at 6 p.m. Central. You can listen to Crimson Tide Rewind across the radio network, the Varsity Network app, as well as catch a video replay on all CTSN social media platforms at UA_CTSN. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Guthrie's. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And just like that, we're back, we're live, we're brand new, we're off, we're rolling, and we are live on a Monday morning, hanging out here inside a very warm Bill Penny Toyota service department. Their doors are open. See, when it's cold, when it's 27 degrees like this and it feels like 38 and you got to get your vehicle serviced, you don't even really have to get outside in the elements. You can pull right on into the garage. They'll take care of you right there. You walk in, you're warm, you get it taken care of Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then on Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., they can service your vehicles here at Bill Penny Toyota. And since it's cold, you might want to give our friends at Talent Heating and Air a call just in case that heat did not come on overnight. 256-503-4490. Let their talent do some work for you. TalentHVAC.com. Also kind enough to get us jump-started here on a Monday. And since it's a Monday, oh, by the way, we got something new this week as well. We're going to give you a chance to win Army-Navy tickets with our Army-Navy trivia. We're going to do this every day this week. We're going to throw out a question. It's going to be very easy, very simple. Today's question, I guarantee you, it's a multiple choice question. You're not going to have any problems getting it wrong. If you get it right, your name goes into the drawing to win Army-Navy tickets. That's it. Unfortunately, we're not going to have a chance to send you up with accommodations or anything like that. So you're going to have to get there on your own. But we're going to give you tickets to get to the Army-Navy game. I promise the question is not complicated today. But it is good, the bad, the ugly from a Saturday of college football, a Saturday of SEC college football. It's your good, the bad, and the ugly. Fourth-ranked Alabama, Drew obviously looked good against LSU on Saturday, 20-9. They get the win. They push the nation's longest home win streak to 17 games. Tied perfect 12-0, by the way, at home since Kalen DeBoer's arrival.
Yeah, it was. They played well in two phases. They played well on defense, probably their best game of the year, and then special teams, they were really, really solid. They did miss a field goal. John Talty, or excuse me, I knew I did that. Connor Talty. I did see John though at the game.
Yes.
But Connor Talty missed a 26-yard field goal, and I wanted to cut him. But he did come back and make a 44-yarder to basically ice the game. Made a 45-yarder as well. So again, it's kind of been an underrated part of it. And I thought it's been for the last several games. I'd say the last 3, 4, 5. Blake Dowd's been really good punting the football. Even at times if it doesn't look pretty, I don't really care as long as if it rolls freaking 45 yards, that's fine. But he did a great job of pinning LSU deep late in the game at about the 2-yard line, and Alabama used that to put the game away.
Right.
And then the only snafu with the kicking game, really, besides the 26-yard miss, was they also would have had a nice punt return to set themselves up at the 25-yard line of LSU. We got called back. Alabama, that's part of the good too. They only had 2 penalties. LSU had 10. Alabama had 2. So they started to cut the penalties down. But again, I thought special teams was really solid. The defense was lights out. The bad, the running, the
run game.
Well, the run game. Actually, that's the ugly. The run game was ugly. They couldn't get anything going. They had 52 yards. They couldn't get any consistency going. And then to me, the bad offensive line wasn't great. As far as run blocking, they couldn't get much push. The pass blocking was pretty decent. Ty only got sacked one time, and it led to a turnover as a strip sack. But he held the ball too long, so he had a chance to get rid of it. So I thought again that it was a solid performance, but again the good was the defense. They played really good complementary football, the kicking game, but offensively, I just felt like the run game was ugly. And the offensive line was not great. It was just decent. I'd say because that's why I'd call that part of the bad. And once again, they had 2 or 3 drops, which could have come back to haunt them. But luckily, the defense was good enough where LSU, Garrett Nussmeier got benched.
Yeah,
was for the most part ineffective. And then Van Buren came in. Yeah, he made some plays with his legs, but he's an erratic passer. And Alabama was able to, like I said, turn him over late with the strip sack to end it. It was a solid win against a talented LSU team. I thought Blake Baker had a really good game plan, and it's kind of what I expected. I told everybody all last week that LSU would fight. I didn't think they would do what Florida did against Kentucky, which is part of our ugly as well. That was just brutally bad. Florida just basically gave up and went belly up on their interim coach, Billy Gonzalez, and lost 38-7 in Lexington.
By the way, that loss there was the worst loss at Kentucky for Florida since 1950 when some cat named Bear Bryant was at Kentucky.
40-6. I think is what I heard. That's what it was back then when Kentucky was actually good. But I mean, don't get me wrong. Stoops has been solid there, and give him credit. I was just kind of joking, but they're now 4-5, and they got a chance. They're actually under the radar. Really tricky matchup. They're playing a 10-0 Tennessee Tech team. A lot of people don't realize Tennessee Tech's 10-0,
right?
But it's still a game Kentucky should win to get to 500 and have a good chance to finish their season strong and get to a bowl game. Though the last 2 games for them won't be easy, even if they can get by the Golden Eagles. They've got to play of course Vanderbilt, and that's part of the good as well. Vanderbilt, what a rally against Auburn, and then they've got to play certainly after that Louisville, their in-state rival, and Louisville. That's part of the bad. The ACC, good
the ACC
God
is
Almighty, it is a terrible football conference.
Yes,
ridiculously bad. If one person on that committee says they have a chance to have 2 teams, smack them and then fire them off the show and send them to a mental hospital, because the ACC is horrendous. It is a bad football league. It wasn't good last year, and they backed them into 2 teams. This year, I wouldn't be surprised if a 3-loss team gets an automatic bid just because they win the conference. But I'll be honest, I don't even know if they deserve one. They're so bad. Another SEC team should probably go. But if you want to throw them a bone and let the champ go into the league, into the playoff, that's fine. But they're going to get their ass beat and go home because they stink.
All right. We were talking Alabama football. We talked about the run game not being very good. Let's check in with Kalen DeBoer. He was asked about the run game after Saturday's game with LSU. Here's the coach.
What did you think of the run game tonight, and what do you need to do to kind of get that going on a consistent basis?
Yeah, we only had 56 yards, so needs to be better. And I think there's a lot of things. I think there's other things we can do to make a defense have to cover us, and we missed opportunities that would help open up the box a little bit. But we certainly either one of 2 things on each play is do a better job blocking, and then do a good job of being physical with the ball in our hands too, and falling ahead for yards. Those extra 1 or 2 yards, 3 yards that you can get by running through arm tackles and things like that, those can hurt. And so, we got to do a better job giving lanes for the running back to go hit it confidently and hit it hard. It's everything. It's an effort across the board. When we run on the perimeter, let's make sure we get the blocks out there. But we certainly got to be better than what we were.
That's Kalen DeBoer. There's a lot to unpack there with what he said because of the opponents coming up and everything they do on defense. And we'll touch on that. But let's get out to the phone lines, 256-576-4977, because it is your good, the bad, the ugly from a weekend of college football. Let's start with Robert in Birmingham. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning, Robert.
Hey, guys. I was just sorry. I was eating food. I thought you were going to keep talking.
No worries.
Basketball. Football. OU Venables is like 2-0 in the last 2 games since Bama. They've had a week off. They get the best D line when they're healthy in the SEC. Their quarterback, who's 38 years old, is healthy now. That's going to be to me, it's the hardest game of the year. It's not even close. Maybe Georgia, but OU is going to bring it on Saturday. I'm really worried. If we do drop a game, this is going to be it, I think. But I hopefully we don't. Hopefully, I'll be able to get more. But basketball, Drew, basketball. Tell me if I'm wrong, Drew. I'm 59 years old. It's the deepest. Remember one thing: all the guys that returned are better, bigger, more physical, and more mature, and their games are all better. All the guys that came back, that were on the team last year, and that I'm gonna call him BB, Manute Bowl, whatever his name is. He was incredible. You see his stat line?
Yeah, I watched the entire game. Taylor Bowen was outstanding. He fits the system perfectly. He's a stretch 4. He made a big 3 from the top of the key. Yeah, he had 3 or 4 blocks. He did a much better job rebounding than he did in game 1, and that's kind of what Nate Oates was doing. He was challenging him after that effort against North Dakota, but he did a great job in the pick and roll as well, getting to the rim and finishing. He did a great job. Yep.
And
did a really nice job.
Very first possession by St. John's, their big guy backed down Sherrell, and Sherrell stood there, took it, didn't foul. He's bigger, more athletic. He looks like a totally different kid, than he did last year. This is the deepest, on paper, best team we've had, in my opinion, in the last 30 years. Now, what's going to happen? Are they going to play together? Is anybody going to get hurt? Are they going to work hard? I don't know all that stuff. But the front court, we've got 3 guys that you can put in down low that are functional. We haven't had that ever. When's the last time we had 3 guys like that? I don't know it. On paper, it's the best team we've ever had, in my opinion. It's better than the Brandon Miller team. It's better than the Final Four team. It's better than the Wimp teams and the 8. They just got bodies, man. And you got guys that didn't even play the other night. You've got a shooter. What's the young guy that didn't even play? He's hurt. He's not coming back for 6 weeks.
Jaleel Bethea from Miami, and they didn't have Keaton Bristow as well.
And the kid from Wisconsin is quietly doing everything. He's kind of a Herb, I guess, but more talented. I don't know, man. Tamper me down. I wanted the team to get back in time to get them on the field between the 3rd and 4th quarter and give them a standing ovation. But the plane got delayed by they didn't get home till, I know some guys that were on the plane with them, they didn't get home till 11 o'clock Saturday night. So whatever, man. But if I'm wrong on the basketball team, let me know. Purdue will be a grit. We could probably lose easily on Thursday night because they have, that guy's we hadn't beaten them yet. But if I'm wrong on the team, let me know. I love y'all show. I listen every morning. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Rob.
They've got a chance to be good.
Big win Saturday, by the way, over St. John's in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, 103-96. They won it and basically led wire to wire.
Yeah.
They were down 87-86 before they made their final run to win it. LeBaron Philon got off to a little bit of a slow start, but was tremendous. Ended up with a career-high 25. The Aiden Holloway, before fouling out with 3 or 4 minutes to go, was outstanding. They did a great job of playing through atrocious officiating, because it was atrocious and one-sided, but they made plays. They continued to shoot the ball really well. But quite frankly, Alabama's guards, they've got a foursome that's just really good. They've got three guys that are experienced, and one, of course, was hurt last year in Houston, Millette, but you've got Aiden Holloway, you got LeBaron Philon, and really you got 4 guys because Latrell Wrightsell was coming back from an injury, and he had 17 of himself from the Achilles, and he even overcame a little bit of a nicked ankle. But their guards, St. John's couldn't stay in front of them, and they did a great job of scoring the basketball, out-rebounding St. John's, which is very difficult to do. And I think the Johnnies are going to be one of the top teams in the Big East, and they came into the game ranked 5th in the country. We'll see how good they end up being. I do think Alabama's got a very deep roster potentially, but the key to the team is going to be, and Robert mentioned one of them, Amari Allen had a very nice game, very versatile guy. London Jemison and then Davion Hannah, who got a little bit banged up with his tailbone. But I think if those three freshmen continue to get better, and they'll get Keaton Bristow back, hopefully for Purdue on Thursday. They certainly need him for the number one team in the country coming to Tuscaloosa. But I mean, I do think they got a chance to have a really, really good team. I mean, I knew going in they had a good roster, but it just you don't know yet, and it's still to be determined how good these freshmen are going to end up being. But they're looking really strong right now, and Taylor Bowen is starting to assert himself. And so I do think, and then you've got, as he talked about, you got certainly the sophomore, the big man in the middle that played some last year off the bench. It's a really good player in Aiden Sherrill. So they've got some weapons. It's a much more athletic team than a year ago, but they're just not as old as experienced. But they played a really good brand of ball on Saturday, and it's very encouraging.
All right, 7:15 here on a Monday morning. We got to get our first break in. When we come back, we're going to continue your good, the bad, the ugly from a weekend of college football. We've touched on Alabama. We got to touch on what happened in Nashville with Auburn and DJ Durkin. For Auburn, they picked a Saturday to have their best offensive performance,
which was good.
Also picked a Saturday to have their worst defensive performance,
which was bad.
So can't get it all on the same page, but one thing led to another. All right, we'll talk about that, but we also get back to your phone calls as well. Let's get a break in. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Forgiveness. Wow, what a word. What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Does it really matter which dealership you buy from? Short answer, yes it does. Hello, I'm Don Wessels for Woody Anderson Ford. Before you buy, take just a minute to check out the dealership itself, because where you buy can make all the difference. Sure, customer reviews tell you what others think, and that's good. But when Ford Motor Company itself recognizes a dealer, that's something special. Woody Anderson Ford has earned Ford's Triple Crown Award, an honor achieved by only the top 1% of Ford dealers in America. It's based on superior customer satisfaction, sales excellence, and exceptional service performance. In other words, the best of the best. So when you're ready for your next car, truck, or SUV, come see how we earned our Triple Crown status. Superior service, sales excellence, over-the-top delivery. That's Woody Anderson Ford. And we hope to see you soon.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
You've been paying on that life insurance policy for years, but maybe you don't really need it anymore, or it's gotten a bit too expensive. Well, before you just let it expire, let Neighbors Insurance Solutions share with you some alternatives that you haven't considered. Don't throw away something that still may have great value for you. If you want to learn more about what Neighbors Insurance Solutions can do for you, call 256-763-7693. A death benefit could be a life benefit. Learn more at 256-763-7693.
Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
I love that song, by the way.
I'm leaving today.
I hate it when the Yankees play it because they win and stuff.
Yeah, but
I
that's
still
been a
love this song.
long time, and that's a beautiful thing.
I still love the song, though.
Oh, yeah.
It does. I do love it.
Alabama men's basketball, they did say start spreading the news when it went under a minute.
Yeah. 256-576-4977 is the number to the phone lines. Let's get out there after break. Let's get Pat in from Tuscaloosa real fast. Good morning, Pat.
Morning, Pat. How you doing, man?
Good morning, guys. Guys, the absolute best thing that happened this weekend was when Auburn snatched defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yeah,
I don't like Pavia, but I got to give the kiddies due. That they still only lost to Alabama
and Texas.
Yep.
Yeah, and but guys, I want to talk about our running game. Alabama basketball was amazing.
Oh yeah.
After I saw the first game, I was worried to death. I went and watched the first basketball game. You were there, Drew. You drove down from Huntsville, and the 15 turnovers. I said, man, here we go again. They're going to have more turnovers than a Mennonite baker, but they got rid of those turnovers against St. John's, and that was phenomenal. That hats off to. I just hope that we can beat Purdue because I hate the Purdue. We are Purdue chant is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life, other than that War Eagle crap. But guys, this Alabama run game, something's got to give. And I realized Justice Haynes didn't have maybe the blocking ability that Miller has, but Justice Haynes is sitting up, and I realize Michigan is not in the SEC, but he's sitting up there about 1,000 yards rushing. That we sitting down with 300 yards between us. I'm making a joke, but go ahead.
No, I mean,
Pat, you have a reason to be concerned. Alabama's running backs right now rank 129th in yards per rush at 3.9 yards a carry.
Yeah.
Alabama's rushing game is 134th in first downs per rush at 15%. I mean, that's where the concern numbers come in.
And I still say it's more of a issue of an average offensive line and an average running back room. And I understand that Justice Haynes has gone to Michigan and run for 1,000 yards, but if you saw him in this system last year, he wasn't as effective. He just didn't seem to mesh with the coaching staff. I always thought he was supremely talented. It was disappointing, but what they're doing offensively is completely different than what Saban ever did.
Right.
And that's just the way it is. You have to come to accept it. They're still 8-1. I honestly got tired of the bitching yesterday, blocked a guy because all he did was whine all day long. I was trying to answer his observations on Twitter,
right.
But all he wanted to do was whine and act like Ryan Grubb's the problem, which he's not. When you
thank God we got tired.
I mean, the problem is, look.
Well, no, Ryan Grubbs, they're designing ways for Alabama to be successful on offense.
Stupid people always say it's the coordinator's fault. It's always, right. They did it under Saban.
Right.
Okay, fire this OC, fire this DC.
Right.
I did get tired of Pete Golding, but at the same time, he wasn't horrible. I just didn't think he was elite. But it was all the time, get rid of Bill O'Brien and Bryce Young won the Heisman. It's stupid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then get rid of Tommy Rees. Well, they won the SEC championship game. I heard if they have if one drive doesn't go people's way, they fire the coordinator.
Right.
That's not. There was 2 or 3 people yesterday. Well, Grubb wasn't very good on Saturday. No, that wasn't what happened. It's called whiffing on blocks.
Well, you heard Kalen DeBoer talk about
finishing blocks, and then sometimes the running back not running through contact, not breaking a tackle. The running back room is average. The offensive line is average. Period. End of story. The strength of the offense is the quarterback and the wide receivers. And unfortunately, Ty is not getting a ton of help right now. He's been off a little bit the last couple games. They've had some drops at wide receiver, and it magnifies it when you can't run the football. And people try to say they're not trying to run the ball. Yeah, they're trying to run it, but the problem is they're not getting a lot of movement. It started on the first drive against LSU. They had a 3rd and 1. Ty got stoned on a quarterback sneak, and then they direct snapped it to Jam, and he got stoned again. So I will say this though, I do think Daniel Hill is the best running back on the team.
Okay,
I mean, what's going on right now reminds me of Josh Jacobs and Damian Harris, when it became obvious to me and everybody else with a pulse that even though Damian was a good player, went on to play in the NFL, Josh Jacobs was better and should have played more. And the NFL has played that out. Damian Harris is a college football analyst now. Josh Jacobs is going to play 10-plus years in the NFL. They should have been playing the other guy more. And so sometimes
you think that's the situation at Alabama right now.
And so sometimes I think politics gets involved, especially with this NIL garbage.
Right.
But still, I think at the very least 4 needs to play as much as 26 does going forward, because I think he's as good. They're both good receivers, and I think 4 gives you a little bit more thump in the backfield. So to me, going forward, I think that's an adjustment they need to make. I think, and don't forget, both those guys were hurt at the start of the season too, so that hasn't helped the continuity in the running game. And like I've said, the offensive line has had some, personnel issues. I think that's the only way, because again. But I'll just say this: look around college football. Alabama's not the only offensive line struggling.
No,
they still had a better offensive line than the trash that was in Baton Rouge that came from with LSU Saturday.
So you look at the top 4. You look at the top 3. Well, Ohio State, Indiana, you got Texas A&M, and Alabama. Are any of the 3 above Alabama a complete football team?
I think the other 3 are better than Alabama right now. I do think Indiana. I believe in them now, but I mean, they were lucky to escape against Penn State. I do think Alabama could play with Indiana every day. The 2 that I think right now are better than Alabama are Ohio State and Texas A&M. Okay. Texas A&M looks pretty dadgum good to me. I mean, I know they've given up some points at times. Certainly Arkansas,
but they're a more complete team right now than Alabama.
I do think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think because Alabama offensively is struggling right now. But again, we'll see what happens if they can take care of business against Oklahoma, which is not going to be easy. And then you've got Eastern Illinois, and then you got to go to Auburn. It's never easy going on playing on the Plains. If they can get to Atlanta, and if they win those games, they will. Then we'll see how they matched up against somebody like A&M, because A&M's schedule is favorable going forward. And so I think that right now, if I had to say that, somebody asked me this weekend, I think A&M would probably be about a touchdown favorite over Alabama, in my opinion. I think they're just better. But Alabama's got a chance to improve. But I think right now Alabama's a college football playoff team, but I don't think they're going to win the national championship unless they get better running the ball and can create more balance. But I mean, people that try to say that Ryan Grubb, I had an idiot yesterday who's now since blocked tell me that Ryan Grubb isn't creative enough.
Oh, I think he's creative enough.
I mean, and he hadn't been creative enough with the running game, which is stupid.
The fact that they got to do better at blocking outside. If they're going to go outside, the wide receivers have got to do a better job blocking. There's little things that they've got to clean up with that make those play calls look bad, which make Ryan Grubb look bad. But when you start dissecting them, it's execution, not the play calls.
Right.
All right, Pat, one more quick thought.
Go ahead, Pat.
Okay, let's get to Bama Bino real fast. All right, Bama Bino.
What's up, Bama Bino?
Good morning, guys.
Morning,
sir.
I agree with most of what y'all said. I just kudos to man. Some of those guys on defense, some of it you can coach and some of it you can't, but most of it is either athletic ability or just knowing that ball, when you're on defense, is not, you got just as much right to that ball as the offense. And that's their mindset. And when they're making tackles, they're trying to knock the ball out. They're trying to strip it. they're trying to knock down a pitch on an option. They're thinking ahead, and that's the only reason we're winning right now. That and Ty Simpson and Jeremy Bernard. That's in my opinion. If we didn't have, we're going to come up on a game where you're not running the ball to where we don't get a turnover and create a pick six or create a good play and down it at the one on a punt because somebody hustled and looked ahead and didn't let it go in the end zone. We're going to come up on a game, and it's going to be because we can't block on the offensive line. Or another thing I have a problem with, have you noticed, and I bet you if you run every play, go back and look at it the whole season, Ryan Grubb runs to the weak side of the field on the hash mark every time, except maybe once or twice occasionally. I don't understand. The play cannot develop. And the running back has to either bounce it out to the left or there ain't no hole there. I mean, he's not got anywhere to go, so it's not the running back. But, Hill is your best north-south. That's why he's better and he's stronger. North-south, he's a north-south runner. He hits a hole quicker. And, yes, he's the best running back we got. Yeah, Ty's in a slump. But I think Ty's, he studies football. His dad coached him well. He knows the game. He'll bounce out of it. And he'll start hitting all of those throws. But he's also hit some that I hadn't seen hit by a college quarterback a lot. Yeah. Maybe except Tua and Mac Jones, his last year hit some that's in a window that small. But he's definitely one of the successes. But I'd really like to see us quit running every play to the weak side of the field. I don't understand it. And I don't understand. Do they watch film and write down what they need to go over with their guys on the offensive line? Do they say, well, let's improve on your footwork? Do they not do that anymore, or are they just not doing what they're telling them to do?
Well, I just think it's a lack of execution, Bama Bino. I think they have some personnel issues within the offensive line. I think there's some guys that are young that will be better later. And I think they've got some guys that are tapped out that are older, like Geno Vandermark. I think he's a solid player, but he's not a great player. And then I think the running back room as a whole isn't as good as they want it to be. They'll fix that through recruiting. I do think A.K. Deere is supremely talented. The idiot that I blocked yesterday kept telling me, just put him in there. And he has the longest run from scrimmage, and I said, yeah, but here's the problem. He doesn't know how to play without the ball yet. And, and he's like, and then I said, so what if we put him in there? Well, if you put him in there, just give him the football and let him run it. And I said, yeah, but people watch film and they'll blitz. They'll in other words, you're kind of telegraphing what you're doing. You can't, in other words, you're not going to be able to throw the football as effectively. If you try to, they're going to blitz the guy. What if he doesn't pick up the right guy and your quarterback gets killed? And then his response was, I believe in him. I believe he can do it. And I'm like,
right. Well,
hello, football for dummies. Go read it.
I'll get off it. I just want to ask you and Scott both a question, and just be honest with me. Have you really noticed and wondered the whole season, have you not noticed they've run 95% of every play call has been to the weak side of the field?
I haven't charted it, Bama Bino. I couldn't tell you that.
I haven't paid him that much attention to it.
I know at times they've run the ball effectively. I know they've tried different things. I think they should use Germ more in the running game. They didn't use him in the running game very much in the game against LSU. He did get a huge 3rd down and 2 where he basically created the running space himself, where I thought he didn't get a ton of help blocking, but he broke through some tackles and was able to move the chains. I think they need to get him the ball 5 or 6 times running it. They basically tried to do that with Latsier on Saturday, and to LSU's credit, they defended it well. And I'm going to give LSU some credit. I thought even without Certainly their Weeks, their injured linebacker with Weeks. I thought they had a great plan, and they are a really good defense. They've been a really good defense for most of the season, and they played hard against Alabama, and they made some plays. So, but I understand, but I think he's been creative. And I'm talking about Ryan Grubb. He's tried to use different backs. He's run tosses to Daniel Hill. He's run outside the tackles. He's run. Jerm Bernard, them using him as a runner won the South Carolina game. So, and then late in the game on Saturday, I don't know if people noticed, but they ran Ty Simpson. They had to do something because the tailbacks weren't getting the job done, and Ty ran through some contact, and they gave him a little bit of a different look and used Ty as a runner. So I think they've tried some things. I think a lot of it, though, I don't think it's schematic. I think it's personnel.
Right.
And I just think they've got to get better. But I give the coaching staff credit, Bama Bino, for finding a way to win games, and they've done that.
All right, Bama Bino, thanks for the phone call, buddy.
Thank you, sir. Wise we have. Okay, thank you.
Yep, thanks, man. 7:35, we got to get a break in. When we come back, we got to get to Bama Big Rick as well. Let's get to his phone call, but we got to get a break in. 7:35, it's your good, the bad, the ugly from a weekend of college football.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. Expect high temperatures to only reach the upper 30s for this Monday across the Tennessee Valley. We'll continue to see plenty of sunshine, though. No rain in the forecast. Heading into your Monday night, temperatures fall once again below freezing into the low 20s. We'll continue to sit under clear sky.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The crimson and white jerseys.
Front court to the rack and the plunge.
The sound of a buzzer beater.
Got it to go as the buzzer sounds.
The Roll Tide chant from the crowd. It can only be Alabama basketball. Join the Alabama Crimson Tide right here on your home for Alabama basketball.
Listen to Alabama basketball all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at All About Water. Crazy name, huh? Well, let me introduce you to them. All About Water is the top pond builder anywhere in the Tennessee Valley, and that includes remodeling or cleaning out existing ponds as well. They also have monthly maintenance plans for your pond. Don't have a pond? Well, how about a fountain or water feature for your property to bring that soothing sound of running water to your happy place? On the other hand, maybe you have water on your property that you don't want. Well, Ryan at All About Water is all about water, so he could take care of that as well. He has a background in fluid dynamics, and what that means is that he can take care of any water issue that you have. Finally, how about that irrigation system that you have or that you want? Well, they do installs and maintenance and repairs on those as well, because they are all about water. Learn more at allaboutwaterllc.com. That's allaboutwaterllc.com.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. I know your accident is the real thing, and they happen to real people.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. There's a lot of talk right now about bigger, but when you've had a wreck, is bigger better?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. Do you want to be just a case number?
With offices in Huntsville and Scottsboro, we take the time to help.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
And I see a truck stop sign ahead, so I change lane. I need a cup of coffee.
Calling on Baton Rouge. Did you see the story now that, it appeared that Brian Kelly and LSU were all kind of love and love there when they fired him, and, we'll negotiate a buyout and all that. We'll take it easy. Over the weekend, Brian Kelly's lawyer sent a note to LSU basically saying, y'all are going to pay us now the full amount. Well, we want the full amount of money that you're going to give us. There's not going to be a negotiated buyout.
If I'm Brian Kelly, I don't blame him. They signed you to the contract. I know they fired the guy that hired you.
Yeah.
That's not your fault.
Yep, that's the thing. They said Scott Woodard's not there anymore, so
I don't care what the mayor says or what the governor says or whatever. You pay it, okay?
Yeah.
That's the climate we're in, and if you got a contract, you got to pay that contract. Let's stop trying to make up things and put rumors out there that are stupid so you can try to get a negotiated buyout. You always read these stupid stories that you're just like, out of As the World Turns, like, well, what in the please shut up. This can't be true. I mean, come on.
And they put a deadline out there and everything. So Brian Kelly's going for his full amount. He wants to get paid. He's calling on Baton Rouge, and he's calling on 54 million.
I'll just say this: University of Alabama calls Baton Rouge property taxes because they own it. Deal with it.
Let's get out to the phone lines one time here, real fast. Bama Big Rick. What was that? Oh, he dropped. Okay. Well, that gives us an opportunity, though, to switch gears real fast. And we got to talk what happened in Nashville with the Auburn Tigers. Auburn's second overtime game of the season, 21st game in program history. The offense drew 563 yards of total offense, the most in an SEC game since 2019 against Mississippi State when they tallied 578, and most against a ranked opponent since 2016 when they had 632 against number 17th ranked Arkansas at the time. They ran 82 plays from scrimmage, the most since they ran 83 in 2020. The 21st half points and 38 total points, obviously the most in SEC play this season. The Auburn first quarter scoring drive that ended in a touchdown by Eric Singleton was the longest scoring drive in the SEC play for the Tigers, 13 plays, 89 yards. They had 18 first-half first downs, most by any Auburn team since they had 18 against Ole Miss in 2021. We could keep going on the offensive numbers, but the thing is they come up short in overtime against Vanderbilt in Nashville. The defense, though, we talk about how good the offense was, and we now understand that Hugh Freeze had his head up his ass pretty much the whole entire time. The defense just kind of it broke on Saturday.
No, it was especially the second half. It just wasn't good. It was solid for much of the first half, but didn't end the half very well. Let Vanderbilt score and cut it to 17-10. Then they countered and got the 54-yard field goal. And kudos to McPherson. He's been on fire.
Yeah.
Looks like he's returning to his old self, which is great to see after all the health issues. But, man, I mean, Auburn had nearly two 100-yard rushers because Daniels rushed for 89 and a couple scores. Jeremiah Cobb has had a really good year underneath the radar. He had another 100-yard game. They got 200-yard receivers because Singleton finally had a nice game. They got him the ball consistently, and then they were able to get the ball to Cam Coleman. Under Hugh Freeze and whatever the hell he called offense, they didn't seem to target Singleton or even Cam Coleman enough, I thought. I didn't think they gave him enough targets, but they combined for 21 catches against Vanderbilt. And if you'd have told me before the game that Ashton Daniels was going to come, have 450 yards of offense and and Auburn was going to put up those kind of numbers, and have that kind of balance and score 38 points in Nashville, I would have thought for sure that they were going to, win the football game.
Right.
I would have thought they were going to control the clock, and with the way Auburn's defense has been playing, I think they had not given up more than 24 points in a game all year. I would have thought, and the thing with Vanderbilt is you want to get ahead of them and make them play catch up. I would have thought that's what would have happened, but Diego Pavia, I don't know what it is, man. He just seems to have Auburn's number, and he threw for almost 400 yards Saturday, and Vanderbilt had a couple 100-yard receivers, and they still rushed for 167 yards. And Auburn just couldn't get stops. They couldn't get stops the entire second half. And credit Vanderbilt, they're tough-minded. They remind me a lot of Georgia from the standpoint of even if they get off to a slow start, they rally. And and really they've had great second halves all year long, except against Alabama, which was interesting because that was a 14-14 game at halftime. And then really they did not score. And so you got to give Alabama a ton of credit for that's how they put the game away. So I mean, it surprised me, but it also just shows you though that Hugh Freeze he was handcuffing some people, man. And this Auburn team is talented. I thought they were. I thought they had the potential to be an upper SEC division team. The roster, the talent is there. It's good, and it just goes to show you. Going forward, I mean, they've got a couple games left. They've got to bye this week, but they're gonna be dangerous, especially in Jordan-Hare against Alabama because they have players.
Yes,
they have dudes on every level, and you saw some of that finally on Saturday.
Here's DJ Durkin after the game on Saturday.
It was a lot on them in a week, and we challenged them, and they responded. And this is Auburn. We didn't come here to get close or make the game close or fight till the end. We came here to win championships. That's what we're going to do. We're building a program to win championships, and that's the first step. First, I guess you got to get it there. But I'll tell you what, there's some character in that room. These guys, every coach in the country is calling this team, trying to drag them in the portal, going other directions. And those guys, they stuck together for one another. And so no more victories, no nothing. We're not happy about it. We're going to win these games, though. So you got to take steps, and that's what we're going to do. But those guys competed. They competed for one another and fought till the end. And they the other team just made more plays than we did. Credit to them.
That was DJ Durkin after the game on Saturday.
One other big issue for Auburn was they had 12 penalties. I mean, you can't go on the road and have 12 penalties, and they gave up over 500 yards of offense themselves. The defense just got shredded, and I wouldn't have thought that going in. But credit to Vanderbilt and their mental toughness and, being able to execute. Diego, I mean, he's definitely a Heisman candidate. Is he a Heisman Trophy winner? I had somebody text me and said they thought he should be the Heisman. I don't think so, but he's definitely a special player. He's had a huge impact on Vanderbilt. He's a great competitor. And I admire the way he inspires his teammates, right. and those guys continue to play good football. But man, I mean, a tough one for Auburn because you put it all together offensively. You finally kind of see the picture. The only difference is probably I think going in the season, I like Jeremiah Cobb, but again, we know that they dismissed their starting running back, who a lot of people thought would have been that ball carrier. But Cobb has picked up the slack, had a really good year, and and I just think this Auburn team, they're going to be playing for bowl eligibility the rest of the way, and they have trying to avoid a fifth straight losing season, and they're certainly going to be dangerous going forward.
I think it's clear we've seen the last of Jackson Arnold this season. I mean, that's Ashton Daniels.
Yeah,
quarterback going
forward. They made the right decision there. I mean, certainly Ashton Daniels played exceptional football, and I would just tell Jackson Arnold to go to his third school.
All right, well, we've got to go to a break. because when we come back, we got to get back out to the phone lines. We'll get Sean in after the break, and then we'll wrap up hour number 1. It's Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Mm-hmm.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Does it really matter which dealership you buy from? Short answer, yes it does. Hello, I'm Don Wessels for Woody Anderson Ford. Before you buy, take just a minute to check out the dealership itself, because where you buy can make all the difference. Sure, customer reviews tell you what others think, and that's good. But when Ford Motor Company itself recognizes a dealer, that's something special. Woody Anderson Ford has earned Ford's Triple Crown Award, an honor achieved by only the top 1% of Ford dealers in America. It's based on superior customer satisfaction, sales excellence, and exceptional service performance. In other words, the best of the best. So when you're ready for your next car, truck, or SUV, come see how we earned our Triple Crown status. Superior service, sales excellence, over-the-top delivery, that's Woody Anderson Ford. And we hope to see you soon.
Don't you wish that you had some secrets to help you get an edge on your business competition? Wouldn't it be great if someone could solve challenges at your company that you don't have the time or expertise to fix on your own? You know, there is a solution. Higher Echelon is a world-class consulting firm based in Huntsville that trains employees in sports psychology secrets to drastically improve work performance. Founder Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets and has put that experience to good use. Higher Echelon helps organizations shave hundreds of hours off work time by improving processes, and Higher Echelon helps organizations save and make more money by walking them through technology updates and implementations. You don't have to go it alone, and you don't have to stay stuck. Higher Echelon is a trusted partner in organizational excellence. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com today to take your company to the next level. Go higher and go Army.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. We're live from Bill Penny Toyota Service Department, 256-576-4977. Let's slip in another phone call. Let's get, let's see here. Let's get Sean in here real fast. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning, guys. How are y'all?
Doing good.
Doing good, man.
Well, my good is our defense.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. I mean, about them. They're held them to 3 field goals and 3 red zone tries. I can't complain about that, period.
No, not at all. I agree.
My bad is really about Ty, and it's not about his accuracy. That's 3 games in a row that he's fumbled the ball.
Yeah.
I don't know. He don't throw interceptions, that's for sure, but he's got to figure out a way to hold on to the ball. And also another good is we've created at least one, and a lot of times multiple turnovers in every game except for the Florida State game.
Right.
And Alabama, you take the Florida State game away, Alabama's not allowed more than 24 points, period, all year to a team.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts?
Well, I agree. I mean, I think the defense played their best game. I thought all 3 levels made plays. I thought the defensive line, LT Overton, London Simmons, Edric Hill. Yeah, well, and Yonze's, I consider him kind of the linebacker core because he plays the wolf spot. But, yeah, I thought the outside backers, he played very well. They used Justin Hill some. He did a nice job. All 3 of the inside backers, Mekhi Hill-Green, he created a turnover, and then a strip of the tight end. And then I thought Justin Jefferson did a nice job. And I thought it was actually Deontay Lawson's best game. I thought he looked like himself.
No doubt. No
he was flying around. He didn't look hesitant anymore. And so I think it's a good sign heading into a tough matchup with OU because certainly OU can play defense.
This is the game that I'm worried about. This is
and
Alabama's faced good. Their best defensive player they faced is what's the dude's name from South Carolina?
Dylan Stewart. Yeah,
I think he's the best player, but this is going to be the best defensive line Alabama's faced all year, no question.
Yeah, no doubt. It's going to be a huge challenge, and but I think Alabama's defense is playing well too. And then I haven't been overly impressed with Oklahoma's offense.
Oklahoma has the 4th best rushing defense in the country.
Right.
They average holding teams to 2.49 yards per carry.
Yeah. And I think Alabama should attack OU through the air. They've looked susceptible to the passing game all year. They do a great job of making you one-dimensional, but I think Alabama, they're not a great running team anyway. I think they need to come out attacking. I think they need to use the backs in the flats. And I will say this, that's why I credit LSU some. Some people were like, why didn't they call screens, this and that? They did call screens. LSU did a good job defending them. So, I mean, you have to understand things, and you have to, not need to read a Football for Dummies book. I mean, some of these people need to. They don't understand the game at all.
Right.
Another good to me, that catch Ryan Williams made in the end zone was incredible.
Yeah, but then later in the game, he dropped one that, to be honest with you, that he's got to make a play on 3rd down. I mean, you got to help your quarterback a little bit.
But that ball, Ty was about a half a foot off on that throw.
He was.
Different.
Wasn't perfect.
I think that was a difference.
But
it's still a ball Ryan should catch. Ryan, in my opinion, if it's a hand catch, he's going to drop it almost. But if he body traps it, he don't. I don't get it.
Yeah, he needs to work on catching with his hands, no doubt about it. But like I say, I think Alabama going forward, they've got to get Jerm the ball 15 times, whether it's throwing it to him, handing it to him. He's the best player on the offense. I didn't think they got him the ball enough Saturday. He needs to touch the ball against OU, and I just think Alabama needs to throw to set up the run. I think they need a game plan similar to the way they attacked the Fat Phil in Tennessee in 2007.
All right, Sean, thanks for the phone call as well. All right, Oklahoma, by the way, 22nd in the country in passing defense. They give up 181 yards per game. So defensively, this is one of the better teams that Alabama will see all season.
No doubt.
Let's get a break in. Hour number 2, we got Bryan Matthews coming up. Then we're going to give you your chance to win Army-Navy tickets. That comes up after we talk to Bryan Matthews, who's next. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Alabama hosting Oklahoma at Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa Saturday. The Crimson Tide are the 7-point favorite, 45.5 the total. South Alabama laying 4.5 at UL Monroe, 50.5 at Malone Stadium. North Texas 18.5-point favorites at UAB. Troy plus 10 at Old Dominion. Jacksonville State a 2.5-point dog at home to Kennesaw State, 51.5 the total at Amherst Stadium Saturday. In the NFL tonight, Packers a 1.5 favorite over the Eagles, 45.5 the total at Lambeau Field on Monday Night Football. Falcons back at home against the Panthers Sunday as a 3.5-point favorite. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
It is hour 2 of Talking Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, dedicated to providing care that improves lives, helping us get the ball going here on hour number 2 as we are sitting here inside Bill Penny Toyota Service Department. We're Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then on Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., they can service your vehicles here. All you got to do is pull in. Several people are here right now. The place is packed here on a Monday morning. Several people getting their vehicles taken care of. Remember, now is a good time to get your battery checked as well. And Toyota TrueStart batteries come with an 84-month warranty and a 24-month free replacement. So it's the Toyota TrueStart battery. Get it done here at Bill Penny Toyota. The Auburn Tigers, we talked about it. We heard from DJ Durkin. I don't know why that is so hard for me to say. They're talking about the fact that, you know, they put a lot on the guys in 1 week. They put a lot on the offense. They put a lot on the defense. They kind of stuck together. You know, he mentioned that this team was getting calls from other places wanting their kids to go into the transfer portal. I mean, there was a lot thrown at Auburn in 1 week. And offensively, this team looked like a completely different team. Unfortunately, we talked about it in hour 1 that the defense broke there against Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt in the second half, uncharacteristically from what we've seen from this defense all season. But now Auburn actually has a week off to kind of, I guess, get everything. And I guess I would imagine you probably just have to rest for a day or so just because of the emotions that you went through in 1 week.
No, it's been a tough week. I mean, anytime you have to make a change like that, but certainly, despite the fact that Auburn didn't play very well defensively, they were unbelievable on offense, and you can take something positive from that. But it's also frustrating because it shows you, and it was all what we thought, that Auburn has a talented offensive team, especially from a skill standpoint, and that their offensive line had been struggling, but played much better, against Vanderbilt.
Right.
And with all the old guys they had, they looked pretty solid early in the season, but they just couldn't create the balance that we saw on Saturday. And you got to give Derek Nix and that offensive coaching staff a ton of credit. And we're going to talk about that and more with our next guest, who since 2001 has covered the Auburn Tigers for auburnsports.com, which is part of Rivals and On3. And he's joining us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Bryan, good morning.
Good morning. How you guys doing? Can you hear me?
Okay, we'll
work on getting Bryan here,
getting the audio
in a minute.
through.
Yeah,
but no doubt that that it was a tremendous performance. When they signed him out of the portal, I thought Singleton was an outstanding addition.
Right.
I watched him at Georgia Tech in a kind of a run first attack, but he made a lot of plays. We know how how ballyhooed Cam Coleman has been. I thought that Damari Alston's the only thing that was kind of disappointing. I would have thought that he would have been the bell cow running back, but look, Jeremiah Cobb has been, I think, under the radar, one of the better backs in the SEC. So he's an outstanding player. They've got a solid tight end room, and then I think it's just a situation where with their O-line, you have to be able to create balance. If it's one of those things where I think they've been pretty good run blocking all year, and now do we have Bryan? What's up, Bryan? Are you with us? We got you, Bryan?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay, got you. A little bit of technology there. We got you now. But Bryan, what we were saying, and good morning. Thank you for joining us yet again. Just it was good to see, but it was also, I'm sure, frustrating for the Auburn fans that this offensive talent's been there all year, but I think maybe the wrong QB was playing, and maybe Derek Nix had some handcuffs on him.
Yeah, and the wrong person was in charge of the offense first and foremost. I think was completely missing out on how to run an effective offense in today's college football world, and didn't really have an attention to detail and didn't take enough care in trying to run that side of the ball. I think you saw a simple plan work quite effectively for Auburn. Get the ball to Cam Coleman, get the ball to Eric Singleton, get the ball to Jeremiah Cobb, and let Ashton Daniels run the show. He looked phenomenal, right?
Yes, he did. Really did.
400, I think, and 42 yards of total offense is the third most in Auburn history.
Yeah, that was like Cam Newton-esque a little bit, Yeah. I mean,
and you can probably guess the two guys in front of him, dual threat guys. Nick Marshall and Damian Craig. That's pretty good company to be with in that capacity. So actually, I'm kind of surprised that Cam wasn't up there too. I have to
me too.
Double check that. That's a really good company to keep there, and what an exciting night for the offense. And it's disappointing that Diego Pavia is so good, and they switched up their offense. Auburn wasn't ready for it, and you put him in a tempo offense where everybody's spread out. I think Diego's about impossible to stop, honestly. So that happens, and it did for Auburn, but at least there were signs of life on offense.
Well, and we said it, Bryan, and I don't think it's not a secret now, or it's really obvious that we have seen the last of Jackson Arnold as a starting quarterback, at least for this season at Auburn.
At Auburn.
That's interesting because if Ashton Daniels sits out the Mercer game, he can still redshirt and be back at Auburn or somewhere else with a full year of eligibility next year. So
that's interesting.
Really?
I didn't know. That's a great tidbit there.
Yep. So if that's the case, then to me it makes a lot of sense for Ashton and Auburn to do that.
then they have a decision to make as far as what they can do for Mercer. You get Jackson back in there. Do you give Deuce Knight the opportunity to start and play a lot? He can redshirt too. Despite playing, so there are some options there. But that's the first big decision that needs to be made.
Real, I did not realize.
Okay, I want to make sure I got it straight. So, could Ashton Daniels come back and play in the Iron Bowl? What would that? How would that work?
He would have to sit out just one game.
Sit out one game. Well, yeah, I think they could see. And no, I'm not trying to disrespect Mercer. I think they're 8-1. They're good, but yeah, I mean, you could probably
future for Ashton Daniels is sit out one game and play next year.
Well, I mean, you could really make Brother Hugh look bad if Jackson Arnold goes out there too and puts up 400 plus yards. Then he's probably he ought to just go on a vacation to Bermuda and never come back.
This will never happen because coaches don't work like this. But if it was me, I'd install the game plan for Alabama with Ashton Daniels right now, and let him run one side of the offense, and let Jackson or Deuce run the offense for Mercer, get them ready. And have 3 weeks prepared. I don't think those things happen necessarily because coaches want to focus on one game at a time. Sometimes I know back in the day, Auburn would do a little bit extra for Alabama, during 2 days or maybe once a week during the season or something like that. But it's an interesting decision to be made, and I'm sure to be made in conjunction with Ashton, his family, and the Auburn coaching staff.
Yeah, and that's really interesting because I thought he was a senior, but I didn't realize that and didn't think about that he didn't redshirt. And so that is very, very interesting because, and again, you have to take into account who the head coach is going to be too. Right. And I guess that's my next question, Brian. Did this hurt the candidacy for Durkin at all, or did he do enough to stay in contention for the job?
Yeah, I don't think it hurt him necessarily. I don't think he's the leading candidate, but I don't think it hurt him in any way. I thought the team played really hard and really well, and he showed some real emotion, I thought, in the post game, and the players talked about wanting to play hard for him. We'll see if it was just a matter of Pavia being good and him switching up the defense, or maybe he wants to shift things a little bit as far as in-game responsibilities. He has to be the guy on the sidelines making the calls, right? The big decision. Where normally he's back on the bench working with the defense, making adjustments to talk to those guys. So, maybe there's a way to shift that more. But I think you just have to credit Vanderbilt for being really good and making a wise move up there on offense.
Yeah, this move to dismiss Hugh Freeze, everything came along. I mean, now you can see why some teams do this during bye weeks because it does give you 1 week to kind of make adjustments, and Auburn didn't have that. I mean, they fire Hugh Freeze. DJ Durkin comes in. He has to do it on the fly. They do it all in 5 days, really get a game plan together for Vanderbilt, figure out who's going to do the offense, figure out all this other stuff. What kind of changes do you think then that we might see during this bye week?
That's interesting. Yeah, the offense was really, really good. 38 points on the road.
Yeah,
I think they'll add a little bit to it for sure. Right. They probably could have run the ball better. Maybe. I mean, Jeremiah did have 100 yards. Ashton did have 89. So maybe that's 200 yards total. So maybe that's
right.
But I just think it's maybe expanding on a little bit. Okay, we did these things well. This team, Mercer / Alabama does these things well. We need to try to work on, doing it this way or doing this better. So I just think it'll be fine tuning, maybe adding stuff to it offensively and defensively. It'll probably be challenging those guys to, not go out there and give up that many points and yards again.
And you kind of referenced it, but what did you think the key was? I mean, because I actually thought for the majority of the first half, Auburn defensively was pretty good.
Yeah,
they did give up the one drive, and so it ended up being a 20-10 game at halftime. What was the adjustment in your mind that you felt like Vanderbilt made that gave Auburn so much trouble? Because I'll be honest, I said this before you came on in hour one. If you had told me before the game Auburn was going to have 200-yard receivers, Daniels is going to throw for 300 plus yards, and then they'd nearly have 200-yard rushers, I would have thought with that way Auburn defense had been playing, there's no way they lose. Okay, in my mind. But go ahead.
And Auburn held Vanderbilt to about 130 yards in a field goal in the first 3 drives.
Yeah.
So they did well. And then at the end of the half, They came in spread formation. I don't know that they were empty or not, but definitely had at least 3 or 4 receivers on the field.
Right.
And just let Pavia make plays, and Auburn was not prepared for that. I think that exposed maybe some depth issues, in the backfield as far as cover guys, especially with Champ Anthony out. And I think they took advantage. And it's the same thing they did at the end of the Texas game when they had that comeback. They didn't come all the way back, but they came back in that game, made it a little bit uncomfortable for Texas in the fourth quarter late. And I think once they did that at the end of the half and had that success, I think that drive was a minute, just over a minute, I think it was, to score that touchdown there. I think they decided at halftime, hey, we're going to come out and do the same thing. And they scored on touchdowns, I think, on 4 of their first possessions in the second half. I mean, it was just unstoppable once Pavia started doing that. And to me, I was watching them thinking, why haven't they been doing this all year? This is the best offense for Pavia, right? Because it's hard to defend a guy when you're all spread out and you've got all that room for him to run around and make plays. So, I would be worried if I'm the rest of Vanderbilt's opponents going forward.
Yeah, there's no question. I think, but now if you're Auburn, you certainly want to continue to build on this momentum with this offense. I mean, because it was amazing. And then I got to give a shout out too, because it's really been since the Missouri game a huge step forward for McPherson.
Yep, 10 of 10, I believe. Since I think he missed 3 against Missouri, if I'm not mistaken. And great for him. Just a great story. He's overcome so much, and it was good to see him out there. And if Auburn could have completed maybe one more pass there on that final drive of regulation and got a little bit closer, I think he would have had a chance to make one more, and win it then. But they couldn't quite get that done there. Came up just a little short, and then Vandy took care of business there in overtime. But he had a terrific game for Auburn. And I thought offensively Auburn was absolutely terrific. And, you're shaking your head wondering where was this all season and where would Auburn be if they had this type of offense all season. I think they would be in the playoff discussion. I really do.
Well,
this would be a much more refined offense by now, right? This was 6 days to prepare to score 38 points on the road against a pretty good Vanderbilt team. What would this offense look like with these players, right now if they had run something similar all season?
Yeah, because I thought Auburn could be an 8-9 win team. I certainly expected them to be much better, and because I thought they had some talent, especially offensively, and with bringing in Singleton and having Cam Coleman. But I guess also I thought that I guess I had the wrong QB pegged. I thought that it would be Jackson Arnold, that maybe he would improve, but we just didn't see it. But I will ask you this before we. I was surprised that Vanderbilt didn't try to kick a field goal at the end of regulation and went for it. And I thought that was going to open the door for Auburn to win it.
Yeah. Well, I think that was one of those analytical book moves, right? He's probably reading that thing and it says, you go for it here because you need to take time off the clock. You need to get closer and you need to try to score a touchdown if you can or run the clock down and kick the field goal. So I think that's sort of the decision they were made. And they were averaging, I think, almost 9 yards to play.
Yeah.
So the odds are pretty good in their favor. Pavia slipped, I think, a little bit.
He did.
I think Auburn played it well defensively, but he also slipped. So, I think in hindsight, you look back at that and, not the best move, but I think you're right in that you're giving Auburn a lot of time and the way Auburn was moving the ball, that would have been risky.
Bryan Matthews joining us this morning. Bryan, one basketball thought here. Tomorrow night, Auburn has Wofford at home. Yep. And then on Sunday, Stephen Pearl really gets his first real this is a big challenge for him as they travel to Birmingham. They'll take on Houston there in Birmingham.
Yeah,
tough one. How about that? Yeah. This is a challenging schedule.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I know a bunch about Wofford, but I'm guessing they probably are picked to win their league because that's how Auburn tries to schedule, or pick first or second in their league. And, of course, Houston, that's going to be a terrific game, right? Just a terrific game there at Legacy Arena against two teams that were in the Final Four last year.
one who played for a national championship, of course. And it's going to be a real test because Houston is usually built to rebound. I haven't watched them play yet, but they're big. They're usually a big physical team built to rebound and defend. And, I'm not sure Auburn is ready for that type of game yet, right? This is an SEC, this is playing a Florida or a Texas A&M who's big and physical, a lot type game, I think. So, but like I said, I have not seen Houston play yet, but I'm just making some assumptions there. So I think this is going to be a real challenge to Auburn. They're going to have to shoot the ball well, and they're going to have to create a lot of turnovers to get points in transition. That's who this team is this year, and we'll see how that looks early in the season against a really good team. So it'll be interesting, but it should be a fun game.
It should be. Well, Bryan, we appreciate it. Great stuff. Let everybody know how to follow your coverage with Auburn football going through the bye week. And as we said, as Scott was talking about, a couple of big dates for the basketball team this week.
Yeah, absolutely. And definitely check us out, auburnsports.com. You can sign up for a free trial, $1 right now. And, of course, we've got an updated hot board on the coaching search. I think that's going to pick up a little bit this week during the off week. May have some more news filter through here and all that more. And, of course, football, baseball's closing out fall practice. I'll be out there this week, too, plus Stein Day coming up. All that more, auburnsports.com. Follow me on Twitter/X at BMattAU.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, we've got to get a break in. If you want a chance to win Army-Navy tickets, call now, 256-576-4977. We'll do a little Army-Navy game trivia coming up next. Again, 256-576-4977 if you want a chance to win.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Tide fans.
Here comes the Tide.
Let's roll.
And one for the win.
Grab your hard hats and tune in for blue collar basketball with the Crimson Tide all season long on your home for Alabama basketball.
Listen to Alabama basketball all season long on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Need tough equipment you can count on? Christopher Equipment has you covered. Whether it's air compressors, trenchers, bucket lifts, concrete tools, generators, skid steers, and more. Serving you with locations in Tullahoma, Shelbyville, Manchester, Fayetteville, and Hazel Green. Christopher Equipment. From job site to backyard, rent or buy, Christopher Equipment delivers the tools you need when you need them. Call 931-455-3900 or visit christopher.equipment today. Christopher Equipment, powering your project.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Hey folks, Arthur Seed, managing partner at University Kia, letting you know we are proud supporters of Alabama and Auburn football. Swing by University Kia today and check out our huge selections of brand new Kias, including the spacious Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the slick new K5, the sporty Kia Seltos. We've got perfect cars for every lifestyle and budget. Visit universitykia.com to view all our amazing offers and get pre-approved amenities, because we want to see you in a Kia. Roll Tide, War Eagle.
Talking Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. only on 97.7 ESPN and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
Welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Welcome in. So here's how it's going to work for the next 2 weeks. All 4 of our shows, all 4 of our local shows, Talking Ball, The Blitz, The Tom Abraham Show, and The Drive, we're going to give you a chance to win a pair of Army-Navy football game tickets. Each show, there'll be a trivia question. All you got to do is answer that. 1 entry per household. If you get it right, we're going to put your name in for a drawing, and then we will draw for a pair of Army-Navy football game tickets. So the trivia questions are going to be multiple choice. They're going to be easy. I promise. They're not hard. They are not hard to do at all. If you just listen to the questions, you're going to get it right every time. But anyway, so let's go out to the phone lines, and let's get Scott in here real fast. Good morning, Scott.
Hey.
Good. Are you wanting to try to win the Army-Navy tickets?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is very, very simple, okay? This first question is very simple. Army-Navy was played on November 29th. That was the day of the first game. What year was the first Army-Navy game played? 1776, 1890, or 1990?
1890, I'm pretty sure.
1890 it is. There you go. See how simple that was?
Now he gets a chance to be in the drawing.
So now you are in the drawing.
There you go.
You are in the drawing for a chance to win Army-Navy tickets.
Awesome.
All right. I appreciate it.
All right, Joe, we'll get your phone number and your email address so we can put it all in there, and then we'll be good. See?
The guy I was talking to yesterday would have said 1776 pretty much. Probably.
See, I tried to make it as easy as possible. See, Joe, did I make that? Joe Hunk is from
we know
the
it's
Blitz.
not 1990. Come on.
I know he's producing for us. Did we make that very simple for everybody?
I don't know. I was really hoping that the signing of the Declaration of Independence was followed up by the Army-Navy game.
1770.
That's why we put that in there. I said we did not make it complicated.
Yeah.
But no, they're going to go in. But anyway, though, the first game was played November 29th, 1890 at West Point. Navy won the game 24-0. That was a newly formed Army team, by the way, in 1890. So anyway, your next chance will come again. You'll have one in the Blitz, and then you'll have one in the Tom Abraham Show, and then you'll have one in the Drive. So you have 4 chances daily to win Army-Navy football game tickets.
And we want to thank our sponsor, Higher Echelon, for
yes, we do,
stepping up and helping us with that. And
Joe Ross, of course. Yes, It was fun. I got to see his son play quarterback for JP2 all season. Joey Ross, fantastic quarterback.
Oh, and Paul Andrzejewski, he had a heck of a year. He had over 1,000 yards receiving, and I know they didn't get a chance to make the playoffs. You hate that, but he's going to be an all-region performer and a guy that was as dangerous as any offensive player in that region this year. And that offense was fun to watch, and it was humming for JP2.
They got it going pretty good.
They had a good offensive football team.
Paul Crehan, a lot of credit.
Yeah, Kevin Crehan has done a great job. I thought he did a really solid job in year 2. And they were just in a tough region. They lost some tough games, but they had a good football team, I thought. And they were improved.
When you got to play Plainview, Madison Academy, North Jackson.
Plainview's a state championship contender, and then and a huge test for our Mustangs coming up on the road at Anniston on Friday night.
All right, that's some of your high school football. We do have a second here, some good, the bad, the ugly.
Or Mark Andrzejewski. His brother's Paul. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
and
Mark
his father's
Andrzejewski.
Paul as well.
Yeah.
But Mark Andrzejewski had a great year. Pardon me.
Your SEC football, your Southeastern Conference, just some good, the bad, the ugly, real fast, touching on it real fast from the rest of the league this past weekend. Obviously, we talked on Kentucky beating Florida.
Great
Georgia over
performance.
Mississippi State, 41-21.
Great job by Kirby. Everybody thought that might be a trap, and the only thing they did was hammer Mississippi State and Starkville. Great job by the Dogs.
Nick Saban said, "Hey, on Friday on the Pat McAfee show that when he was at Alabama, he was very nervous on playing the Citadel when they played them because of how talented they are, and the different style, and you kind of overlook them a little bit." Ole Miss did none of that on Saturday, 49-0. They shut them out. We talked about the ACC on just how ugly it was over the weekend. Wake Forest beat a ranked Virginia team. Cal beat a ranked Louisville team. And UConn beat Duke. By the way, Jim Mora Jr. there at UConn. What a job he's done. And so there you go.
He's already got 2 wins over ACC teams this year, and Florida State's got 2 in the last 2 years.
All right. We got to get a break in because when we come back, Jimmy Stein's going to join us, and we've got to talk some Alabama football. We got to recap what happened inside Bryant-Denny Stadium. We will do so with one of the best, Jimmy Stein, up next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Travel accommodations for 97.7 ESPN, The Zone, provided by University Kia. Your Fox 54 weather.
On Fox 54, meteorologist Emily Owen, another below freezing night expected across the Tennessee Valley. We'll see temperatures in the low 20s for this Monday night. We'll continue to sit under clear sky heading into Veterans Day. Temperatures warm into the upper 40s, lower 50s, and we'll continue to see plenty of sunshine.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at All About Water. Crazy name, huh? Well, let me introduce you to them. All About Water is the top pond builder anywhere in the Tennessee Valley, and that includes remodeling or cleaning out existing ponds as well. They also have monthly maintenance plans for your pond. Don't have a pond? Well, how about a fountain or water feature for your property to bring that soothing sound of running water to your happy place? On the other hand, maybe you have water on your property that you don't want. Well, Ryan at All About Water is all about water, so he could take care of that as well. He has a background in fluid dynamics, and what that means is that he could take care of any water issue that you have. Finally, how about that irrigation system that you have or that you want? Well, they do installs and maintenance and repairs on those as well because they are all about water. Learn more at allaboutwaterllc.com. That's allaboutwaterllc.com.
Your customers deserve the best, and so do you. You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loader from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best, and this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Best of all, now Thompson Tractor is making that investment even better with our Workhorse Special. Get 0% financing for 36 months on the purchase of a new Cat 255 compact track loader that comes with a 3-year warranty. You also get a 74-inch bucket and 1,000-hour filter kit. Great news. This offer is now extended through the end of December. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor. We're here for you.
Football season and Bad Daddy's Burger Bar. The perfect combination of good times and great food. This season, score big with one of our chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness. Our delicious burgers are made with premium Angus beef, and you can pair it with one of our signature cocktails or a cold craft beer from our huge selection. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway in Huntsville and our new location at Cliff Farm, Highway 72 in Madison.
Your home for Madison Academy football is on the Mustang Zone.
Looks right, tosses it, wide open, touchdown Mustangs. There on the reception, Zion Williams on the wheel route, and that's 6 on the board there for Madison Academy.
Only on 97.7 ESPN.com and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
All right, 8:34 here on a Monday morning. We've been live from Bill Penny Toyota Service Department here. And time for us to go back to Tuscaloosa and break down even more what happened inside Bryant-Denny Stadium, Saban Field on Saturday. Alabama with that 20-9 win over LSU. Josh Cuevas, by the way, had 58 receiving yards. That was a new career high for him. That overtook his previous best of 46 yards against Mercer in 2024. And Ryan Williams' 14-yard receiving touchdown just before half, that was the Tide's 7th touchdown in 9 games with 2 minutes or less remaining in the opening half.
Yeah, they've been really good in the 2-minute drill. I almost wish that'd be a huge part of the game plan. Just go up tempo against Oklahoma because Oklahoma's so good defensively, especially against the run and rushing the passer. But if you kind of tempo them, maybe you could catch them in some matchups. But speaking of that, and this game coming up on Saturday inside Bryant-Denny Stadium at 2:30, one of the best in the business. And, of course, you can catch him every day, really, with his pal Luke Robinson, who I know Luke very well as well. He also does a lot of work for the AHSAA. But they do Locked On Bama as part of the Locked On Network. And we're going to have Locked On Bama's Jimmy Stein on with us now to talk some Alabama football. Jimmy, great to have you back on, man. How you doing this morning? Yeah, appreciate you joining us via video. Looks great. Just your initial thoughts. I mean, it was an ugly game against LSU, but I guess if Alabama fans will think back on it, even with Nick Saban here coaching, a lot of those games were ugly, kind of blood and gut kind of games. That's the kind of game it was on Saturday. I know it wasn't, pretty offensively, but I thought, when you think about complimentary football, it's kind of funny to say, but I thought it was probably their best game of the year doing that. I thought the special teams was outstanding, and I thought defensively it was their best game of the year.
Defensively, for sure. I mean, I've been waiting to declare with a straight face that this is a top 10 defense, and now I just believe every number is there to justify it. I mean, this is one of the 10 best defenses in college football, and they've improved. They've improved. Obviously, started at a pretty low point, giving up 4 touchdowns and 31 points to Florida State. Didn't play a good first quarter at all against Vanderbilt. But so there's been some bumps in the road, but I've seen steady improvement. And now I think going into this week, you can say these are the best 2 defenses in the SEC, Oklahoma and Alabama. Alabama played really well, giving up no touchdowns to LSU's fewest point total. First team to hold LSU to under 10 points all season long. The pass rush is good, 3 sacks, I think 7 tackles for loss. Several players, I think, now coming around and playing worthy of all-star or, all-SEC type mention, like Bray Hubbard, like Jan Zapier. I think James Smith is a guy that's playing better every week. Like what I saw from him, Nakai Hill-Green, best game of his time at Alabama. So the defense is playing well. I like that you mentioned special teams, Drew. Blake Dowd has developed into a quality SEC punter. Connor Talty is far from perfect, and I get the people get their nerves up, when he's out there because he's sort of still unproven, even though he's been the kicker all season long. But for the most part, he's been dependable inside 40 yards. He's been dependable. And obviously with 2 more years of eligibility, he has room to improve, but he's pretty good. But the issue is the offense. I think we all know that. I think we all know the run game. Some fans say that the run game stinks as if the coaching staff hasn't noticed. I mean, this is
I know.
this is something that they're working on. They know this, and they're working on it, but that doesn't mean that it's been good enough. It just simply isn't good enough. If your goals are to win the SEC, make the playoff, and advance, it's not good enough. Now the team is, and I do think there's some over criticism going on in the sense that, Missouri's got the best, rushing offense in this league. I don't think Alabama fans want to trade places. Arkansas's got the second best rushing offense in this league. I know for sure Alabama don't want to trade places with them. So the team is doing well. The coaches are working around it and with it. And I'm optimistic going into these last 3 games.
Yeah, Jimmy, that's where I know a lot of them want to just pile on Ryan Grubb because of the lack of rushing game success. But you look at it and they're still able to overcome that and find ways to win ball games. And one of the things is when this Alabama team has the ball, and we talked about it before, if it's under 2 minutes on the clock or if Alabama needs a sustained drive, if you're the other team, you don't want to be in that spot because Alabama finds a way to grind out an 80-yard drive or a 70-yard drive or something with 2 minutes on the clock, and they don't do it with a field goal. They do it with a touchdown.
Yeah, like Drew said earlier, it seems that the 2-minute offense is something that works very effectively for Alabama at the end of the first half. To this point, they haven't needed it at the end of the second half. They could this Saturday. Stay tuned. That could happen easily Saturday against a really good Oklahoma team. But they seem to play a little more. I think Ty seems to be almost a little more focused in the 2-minute. That just seems to fit him well. And I think, by the way, I've always considered myself the ultimate barometer for a quarterback in college that wants to play NFL football. The ultimate barometer to me is that 2-minute drive. Because that's what they ask you to do in the NFL every week. Every week in the NFL, you're going to be doing that at some point. The games are all close, and that's something that quarterback just has to do at that level. Ty does it really well, and I think that's one of the many reasons NFL scouts are very high on Ty Simpson right now. But in terms of could you do it multiple times during the game or just go, I don't know that that's going to help your defense out. Things are going so well defensively. I'm not sure a lot of quicker possessions. One thing is for sure, when you go up tempo, as Alabama fans might know from last year, when you go up tempo, that can also mean 1 minute long 3-and-out possessions. And now you've really put your defense in a bind. I don't know that we'll see Alabama do that a lot with this team, but I do think it's interesting that Ty seems to perform his best in those scenarios and those packages.
And then to go back to the running game, Jimmy, I've said for me after watching this team play multiple times, I still think it's more personnel than schematic. I think they have some deficiencies on the offensive line that they're trying to coach around. They're trying to develop guys. And then the running back room, I think Daniel Hill needs to see more and more time. And people forget that both he and Jam were hurt to start the season. But I think the running back room is, average right now. A.K. Deere certainly has a lot of potential, but people don't seem to get it at times when you tell them that in this offense and what they're doing, it's just he's not ready yet to play without the football. I think he's got a bright future, and I think they're bringing in a Xavier Crowell. I think they're going to bring in some talented guys, but right now you kind of have what you have.
Yeah, I get that, and I agree with that largely. Now, especially, the A.K. Deere thing is certainly true. If you play A.K. against Oklahoma and you just go with him and he rushes for 120 yards on 14 carries, you might think to yourself, "Gosh, running game problem solved." Well, not if within that play that he's on the field, Ty gets hit so hard he's injured and lost for the year. It doesn't matter how many yards A.K. Deere rushed for if you get the quarterback hit and killed. I mean, that's not you've got to get that part of your game down before you can play a significant role with the ones. I mean, that's just mandatory. DeBoer and Grubb are always going to be a pass-first offense. I think that's part of the reason the run game isn't what we would like it to be at Alabama. Is DeBoer and Grubb are always going to throw the ball first, and it's going to be built around that. That's what they're going to do the most in practice. It's what they work on. It's what they are. So I think that's part of it, and that means the back has to be a good pass protector. He has to be, or he can't play. So I think while AK learns, and even a Jam Miller, who, by the way, is outstanding in that, as a freshman and sophomore, Jam, I wasn't the best thing Jam did either. I mean, he got better and better to the point that he's the best in the running back room at that aspect of playing. But I do think over time, AK Deer is going to be outstanding. And of course, we're all excited about seeing what Crowell will bring to the table as soon as he gets here. I'm with Drew. I do think personnel is a huge part of it. I do think schematically there's a little bit there. And by that, I'll just, say that we got to remember that last year, the principal play in the offense, or the thing that worked the most, the bread and butter, was a run play with Jalen Milroe, an RPO, usually that had Milroe keeping the ball, but he was the best running back on the team. And at the time, you had two tight ends that were almost always on the field, and they weighed over 500 pounds together. Robbie Ouse and C.J. Dupree, one plays for the Seahawks and one's in the Patriots organization, and that's who you had on the field all the time. Those two 500-pound tight ends have been replaced by one 235-pound guy who's really a pass receiver. I mean, that's what he is. And I don't think people talk about that enough in terms of how that affects the run game, that most of the time you have Cuevas out there by himself, who's not Robbie Oust. He's not even C.J. Dupree. He's just an average blocker and a little smaller than a lot of SEC tight ends. Now, they do bring, this past weekend, they played a little more 12 personnel than they had been. I think that was an effort to run the ball. But Danny Lewis could only play 3 snaps in the game. He's been injured all year. He missed the spring. He's missed most of the fall. Caleb Edwards is really your blocking tight end, and he's a true freshman, which is a big ask. But I do think that's been a big issue in the run game that not enough people talk about.
Well, that and to Jimmy, am I wrong to think that? I mean, Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard, they are great receiving wide receivers. And Kalen DeBoer said, you know what, when we get that ball around the outside, we got to have even our wide receivers block. Are they great blocking wide receivers?
I don't know. I don't think they're bad. I think Ryan is kind of weird in that. I think sometimes Ryan has great blocks and sometimes he misses entirely. I mean, I don't know what his batting average is. Sometimes Ryan's really good. Germ's really tough. I think Germ for the most part is pretty good. And I think Rico Scott is really good, but I wouldn't necessarily say that the blocking outside is a major strength of the team. I'm sure it's something that needs to improve as well. But I do think the running back room is sort of average compared to the Saban dynasty years, for instance. The offensive line is okay. I think it's better than the loudest critics suggest, but it's not great. It's certainly not great. I do think Jaden Roberts playing every snap at right guard 2 weeks in a row is very interesting. He seems to have solidified that. Now you're only substituting and rotating at 2 spots. Let's see if that improves the run blocking in these last 3 games.
And we're talking to Jimmy Stein, Locked on Bama. Jimmy, what are your thoughts on this the huge challenge against Oklahoma? Because their offense has kind of been up and down a little bit, the Sooners, but we know how good they are defensively. This is going to be one of Alabama's biggest challenges of the season.
It's the best defense in the league. I think they've proven that over 9 games. Brent Venables is as good of a defensive mind as there is in the sport. If you don't believe me, ask Clemson fans who have not been the same since Venables left for Norman. I think there's a direct correlation to Clemson's kind of going off the cliff a bit since Venables has moved to Norman. He's really good. He's got excellent personnel on defense, as always. Their season reminds me a bit of Alabama's, though, in the sense the defense is very good, top 10 defense nationally. These are the top 2 defenses in the league. Both quarterbacks, I would say, in a way, John Mateer won the September Heisman and Ty Simpson won the October Heisman, but neither are a cinch to be in New York City at the end of the year. Ty might be, Mateer is going to have to play out of his mind in November, but he could easily play his way back in. But both quarterbacks have been mentioned with the Heisman sort of all season long. Both teams struggle to run the ball. Alabama 14th in the SEC. Oklahoma only runs for 20 more yards a game than Alabama. So they don't run the ball well either. They have some issues up front to an extent. These are somewhat very mirror image teams. I think it's going to be really tight. And based on how both teams have played recently, I think either one of these teams that scores 24 is likely to win the game.
Wow. Jimmy, you just real fast, your thoughts on the rest of the league, though, right now? You look at, we talked about, and you talked about, Alabama doesn't want the Arkansas offense. They don't want the Missouri rushing attack. Is Texas A&M the most, they're undefeated. So, obviously, are they even a complete football team?
I think they're the closest thing to a complete team in the league so far, based on what we've seen. Again, things can change week to week. The schedules are so disparate. Everyone's playing such a different schedule. I think A&M's been a bit of a beneficiary of that. But at the same time, I don't want to diminish what they've accomplished. They've looked good on both sides of the ball. At times, they've been very explosive offensively. At times, they've just shut you down defensively. I think they're the closest thing to a complete team. They run the football really well, even though they've had injury issues there. They've continued to run the ball well, no matter, because they've got three backs that they really like. I think A&M, Ole Miss has also been very good. I think they're close to a complete team. They have a difference maker at running back in Kawan Lacey. Their defense has been up and down, but for the most part, dependable. Trinidad Chambliss is extremely difficult to defend. Georgia is almost too quiet to me. I think, this Saturday is going to tell us a lot in Texas, Georgia. If Georgia wins this game, and I believe they will, if Georgia wins the game, there's no reason not to consider Georgia a threat to win the national championship, frankly. There'd certainly be a team in the mix. If Texas beats Georgia, I don't rule that out. Now you got to start thinking about Texas as a playoff team, and a dangerous playoff team at that. Texas has as many dudes as anyone. It's just taken them a while to put it all together. It's just such a competitive, fun league, especially at the top. I think among the top 8 to 10 teams, guys, anybody can beat anybody on any week in any place. The top 8 to 10 teams. I think it's that close.
Yeah, it really is. It's going to be fascinating to see how everything works out in this last 3+ weeks, because you'll it's looking like, based on what we saw in Nashville, that the Iron Bowl is going to be another tough matchup for Alabama. It always is tough on the road, but Auburn may be finding themselves offensively.
Yes. What I found curious about that game is the decision to go with Ashton Daniels and how that worked well against what had been a pretty good Vanderbilt defense all season long. And now all of a sudden Auburn's got 500 yards. They finally show Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton. Yeah. We've known all along these are two of the better players in the whole league, much less at Auburn. But it took this long and Ashton Daniels to make them that productive. They're dangerous now that they've found that. But what was curious to me is DJ Durkin, as soon as we move him from defensive coordinator to interim head coach, now the defense gives up 500 yards, and they had been good defensively all year long. This has been one of the better defenses in the SEC. I don't know that I would say that based on what we saw Saturday in Nashville, and I wonder if that has anything to do with Durkin moving to head coach and maybe not being DC full-time 24 hours a day. On the other hand, give Vanderbilt credit, because as we all know, especially Alabama fans, Pavia in that offense is not easy to defend. It's a unique preparation, and plus, no matter who your scout team quarterback is, he ain't Pavia. So that's a difficult preparation, and I get that. But yes, Auburn is going to be a significant challenge for Alabama. I don't think this is 100% the case mathematically, but in all essence, all Alabama needs to do is beat Oklahoma or Auburn to clinch a spot in Atlanta. That's all they really need to do. I don't know that the math works any other way, but if Alabama doesn't beat Oklahoma and you've got to beat Auburn, boy, that's going to be a real anxiety-drenched day for Alabama fans who have a lot of nightmares about games played in that stadium.
No doubt. And before we let you go, real quick, though, huge win for Bama basketball, though, in the Garden.
Oh, that was unbelievable, really. I mean, I was even a little surprised, to be honest, because I thought it might take a while for the team to gel a little bit. And they're not great around the basket offensively. They don't get a lot, near the basket. But, I thought Bo Bowen played, really well. But Alabama's backcourt, on nights that I think they made this clear in that game, on nights that Philon, Holloway, and Reitzel are all good, you got to be a heck of a basketball team to beat Alabama. If those three guys are all good on the same night, Alabama's going to be really tough to beat. I do think the Achilles heel may be, offensively around the basket. And, what it seems to me that Sherrill is clearly their best center, but then the plus minus numbers didn't indicate that on Saturday. That was a little perplexing to me, but this Alabama team proved Saturday they're very good. They can beat anyone, and they are a contender to win the SEC, make the NCAA tournament, and advance again.
Well, great stuff, Jimmy. I know you're going to have a great Locked On Bama episode coming up later today. And then, of course, I know it'll be out, and then you guys will be all week covering Alabama football and hoops. Huge game against Purdue, also in basketball coming up on Thursday. Thank you for the time, and let everybody know to connect.
Sure, yeah. Locked On Bama. You can find us on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Me and my co-host Luke Robinson, we have new shows every day, 7 days a week.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thanks, Jimmy.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right, let's slip in this final break real fast.
Oh, my bad.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state.
That's going to do it for us here at Bill Penny Toyota. And big congratulations to the Whitesburg Christian Academy girls cross country. They three-peat this past weekend. They get it done. Hazel Green's Nehemiah Johnson, he wins the individual title in Class 6A boys. Scottsboro, congratulations to them. Athens Bible, congratulations to them. They all bring home state cross-country titles over the weekend. So another fantastic weekend on the high school level. We got high school football, playoff football coming up on Friday. So, I mean, we're not done with the fall season yet.
Not yet. Lone Wolf Academy. Madison Academy, last one standing.
Taking on Anniston here. We'll break all that down as the week goes on.
Tide fans.
Here comes the Tide.